What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to what's the longest walkable distance on Earth? That's a very interesting question. This is also by Real Life Lore. Forgot to say that. But it's a very interesting question. I would assume the longest distance you can walk on Earth would be, I assume it's in like a straight line, right? And I would assume that was probably going to be from some point in Russia, near the top of Russia, all the way down to like somewhere around China-ish. I assume that has to be the longest point, right? Or maybe instead of this way, it might be the other way, where it's some point in Russia down to like Italy-ish. I don't know. But anyway, hope it's been quite interesting. I really like Real Life Lore's videos. With that being said, the original link's in the description. And without any further ado, let's begin.
What is the longest walkable distance that you can take on Earth? There's a few different possibilities, but for the purpose of this video, I need to...
Actually, wait a minute. I think there's actually like a hiking trail that goes... Nah, never mind. No, I don't think it's that long. I was gonna say, I think there's a hiking trail that's so long that it's like 1,000 miles or something. But then again, if you were to go from the, you know, what I was saying, the one part in Russia to down to Italy or whatever, that's gonna be over 1,000 miles.
Make a few clarifications first. We want to find the longest walkable distance between 2 points on the Earth's surface, and we want to make sure that we're actually walking the entire time and not taking any shortcuts, ferries, or boats across any water. Finally, we need to be able to visualize the walk in Google Maps and have it be capable of feeding us directions during the journey. If Google isn't able to calculate the journey, then it's disqualified. So based on these criteria, the longest route by far...
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, logically it'd be from like right here to like right over here. Look how long that is. But then again, if you have to use Google Maps, like I'm pretty sure there aren't roads up here because it's so far up north, so that you probably that probably wouldn't even be considered. Therefore, I don't know.
That you can calculate inside of Google is a trek from Cape Town, South Africa to Magadan, Russia.
Wait, you can actually walk that far? Oh, so you could walk down here and you could come up through here. Wow, that has to be the longest right there.
Well, more specifically, from this town nearby Cape Town, which is the southernmost point of the African continent. From my own personal research into this, nobody in history has ever before managed to complete this real...
Yeah, because you probably end up in some really dangerous areas. I don't doubt anyone for not trying it. You're gonna go through like war zones and people are like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm just walking. Walking up there!
Real-life achievement. People have already climbed the tallest mountain, sunk to the deepest part of the ocean, and even landed on the moon, but nobody has ever accomplished the longest possible walk. So, what would it...
How many years would it take? You better calculate that too.
...actually be like for you if you decided to become the first? Here is a brief overview of both the horrible and
the landscapes would just be awful. I think going through Africa, you'd go through rainforests and deserts, which are very hard to survive in. It just seems like a very bad idea.
Amazing things that you would end up experiencing and dealing with. As a brief overview though, the entire journey would span a distance of...
Wait, so you actually go through the, I think, is this the Amazon right here? I don't know geography that well, so don't come at me. I don't know. Was that 14,000 miles? 14,000 miles? Oh my goodness. But it looks like you're gonna go right through like a rainforest or something here. I would hate doing that. Do you know the kind of crazy bugs that live in there? You're also gonna go through a desert. The Middle East right here? No, I think the Middle East is down here. You might actually totally avoid the fighting areas, so that actually might be really good.
23,068 kilometers and feature elevation changes of 123,000 meters and back down again, which is basically like you climbing up Mount Everest and back down again 14 times. If you enter this route into Google yourself, it'll differ slightly from the one that I'm showing you in this video because Google annoyingly always tries to help you out with ferries across the major geographic barriers you'll face along the way, like the Zambezi River, the Nile River, the Red Sea, and the Black Sea. But I've manually forced a route that doesn't take any ferries because that isn't walking and that is cheating. So Google estimates a time of
4,600. Okay, I gotta find this out. Give me a second. I'm gonna do some math. Math time. All right, so we got 4,646 hours. Now, I'm not gonna divide that by 24 because there's no way you're able to walk for 24 hours a day. You might be able to walk for 12 hours a day, and then for the other 12, you might, you know, stop and eat or something like that and not have a sleep. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna divide it by 12. It would take you 387 days of walking for 12 hours a day to complete this. 387. So you could be doing this for over a year, just completely walking. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of intriguing. Now, I couldn't do it because I sit in a chair for the majority of the day, so my legs are not used to walking that much. But I kind of want to see what it'd be like walking. Also, I don't know any of the languages throughout here, so it'd be very difficult to get around.
Completion for my route from start at 4,646 hours, or 194 days of continuous non-stop walking.
Yeah, but there's no way you could do that. It would have to be like 12 hours a day, which is insane. I think most people might be able to do like 6 to 8 hours a day, and the rest of the time they'd try to recover from the walk. But there's no way someone's walking for 24 hours a day.
However, that's actually quite a misleading estimate. It's more reasonable to assume that at best, the average person partaking in this journey would probably be more likely to only be capable of walking approximately 20 kilometers per day over an 8-hour period each day.
Yeah, see, you did 8 hours. I did 12 hours in the math, and the 12 hours takes you up to like, what was it again? Like 380 something days or something?
If you could manage to keep up that pace continuously every day, it would take you 1,153
3 years.
Days, or
that's
over
believable.
3 full years to complete the entire journey. And that's assuming that nothing goes wrong to you.
Oh, something definitely is going to go wrong. You know, that's life. Stuff goes wrong, it's life. Also, you're going to be walking through some really dangerous areas. Like, if this is what I think it is, and this is a rainforest, that's dangerous. And this is a desert, that's dangerous. I wish I had a map here of, you know, the actual, like, countries. Because I know certain countries have higher crime rates than others. But I know, you know, if you're walking in the Middle East, let's just say I wouldn't do that.
Along the way, which, I mean, if you look back at the map and see some of the places where you'll be going, you probably aren't going to get that lucky. Starting off, you have to walk across the entirety of South Africa, but you avoid all of the really dangerous cities before arriving in.
Yeah, I think the crime rate in South Africa is pretty high. Also, not to mention, like, just like the viruses and stuff you could pick up from the environment, whether it be mosquitoes, other kind of animal bites or whatever. You know, if you live in North America, other parts of the world, you'd have to get so many, like, shots and vaccines to try to keep yourself safe from whatever, you know, is out there.
Zimbabwe, which is when things may start to get a little sketchy. The crime isn't particularly high in Zimbabwe, but they do have some pretty whack creatures that you should worry about, like the black mamba.
Oh, yeah, that thing's dangerous. But look at him. He's got a nice little cute head. You just want to pet him.
Snake that can both outrun you and kill you within 20 minutes of a bite if you don't get an anti-venom in time. You have to cross the entire country before you hop over into Mozambique, where you briefly walk across before you enter over into Malawi, which has the 9th highest rate of malaria in the world.
Oh my goodness. The 9th highest rate of malaria. Yeah, see, you need malaria pills, and I think malaria pills you have to take 1 a day. You would have to have like a doctor traveling with you constantly to give you medicine.
And you have to walk a decently long way through. The wrong bite from the wrong mosquito at any time that you're here can give you the disease and knock you out of
I hate mosquitoes so much.
action, or possibly even kill you. And it gets worse when you cross through Zambia for a hot minute, because Zambia has the 6th highest rate of malaria in the world. Then you cross back into Malawi again for another hot minute before you cross the border into Tanzania, which you also have.
Tanzania's got, I think they're pretty high for what's it called? Malaria.
Have to hike all the way across until you find yourself entering into the malaria capital of the world, Uganda. If you know the way through, Uganda isn't particularly dangerous, save for having the highest recorded cases of malaria in the world. However, you do
Why do you gotta show the mosquitoes? I hate mosquitoes so much.
have to cross through Murchison Falls National Park, which does have things like hippos, gorillas, and even more black mambas. Quite possibly the sketchiest part of your trip begins, though, when you cross the border into South Sudan, which, oh boy, is
Sudan?
considered the 3rd most dangerous country on the
Yeah, it's a pretty dangerous place.
entire planet to be in, ahead of even other places like Iraq or Yemen. Armed conflict between opposing political and ethnic groups is ongoing across the country, while carjackings, shootings, ambushes, assaults, robberies, and kidnappings are pretty common occurrences.
Yeah, it's like, and you're just gonna be walking. Like almost like a war zone, just like just minding my own business. You might be safe. Who knows? But like your odds of being safe keep going down the further you get into this journey. Like mosquitoes, freaking
Even US government employees here have very strict curfews and travel in armored transport carriers for their own safety.
Oh my
You'll
goodness.
definitely have a difficult time walking through here before arriving into regular Sudan, where you have to journey across the Sahara and
Yeah, there's the desert. Oh, that'd kill you alone. I don't think you could technically walk through the Sahara just because of you need so much water in the heat, and if you don't get enough water, you're gonna be gone. So you have to have someone with you, like a vehicle, supplying you water the whole way.
scorching temperatures of up to 47 degrees Celsius in the summertime before you arrive here at Wadi Halfa, right before Egypt. There isn't a single road that connects Sudan with Egypt, which
Man, I'm so bad at geography. It's kind of interesting seeing where all these countries are.
seems like pretty poor planning on their part, so Google wants you to take a ferry across Lake Nasser to Aswan in Egypt. But that is breaking our rules, so you're gonna have to just huff it across the empty Sahara without a road.
You're gonna have to walk across the Sahara without a road? You can't do that. You can't do that and live. You have to have water. You have to have water.
Or arriving into Aswan yourself. That's pretty dangerous and you'll probably die, but I mean, you'll probably have died a dozen times before this anyway. So
Yeah.
then you walk across basically the entirety of Egypt, cross the Suez Canal Bridge, and walk all the way across the Suez to Jordan while briefly hopping through Israel. Walking through Jordan shouldn't be too bad, but things hop right back into Sketchtown when you enter into Syria. The brutal civil war
Yeah, you're walking into legit, like, war zones. Oh my goodness.
that has claimed at least 500,000 lives in the country is still ongoing, and Syria is considered to be the second most dangerous country in the entire world, only behind Afghanistan. So yeah, good luck walking through all of that. This entire thing is starting to seem like suicide, but with extra steps, but things
A lot of extra steps.
start getting back to normal when you cross through Turkey, then Georgia, and finally into Russia, which
Yeah, I think once you get past here, and I think then you're kind of on like a downward slope as in terms of safeness. I mean, sure, Russia isn't that safe, but you compare it to some of the other places, it's a lot safer.
is by far the longest part of your journey. You'll have to walk across practically the entire country and walk deep through Siberia, which is so
Siberia, oh my goodness, that's where the Germans lost, isn't it? It's so cold.
huge. You're guaranteed to be there during the winter at some point. And if you survived everything up to here, it would sure be a shame to just freeze to death near somewhere like Yakutsk, where the average January temperature is negative 39 degrees Celsius. The road from here to Magadan is known as the Road of Bones, after the thousands of
Oh, I've heard of the Road of Bones. Yeah, I think when they were making this, they had thousands of people die, and they just like buried the bodies into the road. So that's why it's called the Road of Bones. That's what, was it Stalin or the other one who did that?
Gulag laborers who died constructing it under Stalin, and whose bodies were simply mixed in with the very fabric of the road that you're walking across. So if you somehow survived all of this and you cross this final obstacle into Magadan, congratulations, because you've just done something that nobody else in human history has ever done before. You've completed the
Or even ever attempted. I can understand why. It's such a dangerous journey.
longest possible walk between 2 points on the Earth's surface, and it's probably only taken you at least 3 years of your life to finish. Now,
On a realistic note, so they would take you 3 years of walking 8 hours a day. Now, let's say sometimes you're gonna be in the hospital. You know, if you manage to survive this, you're gonna be in the hospital a good number of times from some kind of sickness, some kind of wound, some kind of ailment. So you're gonna be in the hospital. So I would say you need at least 6 months to a year worth of hospital time as well. So you're looking at maybe 4 years. And then the travel time from the hospital to where you last left off walking, 4.25 years maybe to do this.
many real-life lore viewers
You would also have to have passports to get you through each country. And yeah, I don't know how well that would go. Some countries are really strict with who they let in and whatnot. Anyway, I think this is freaking really cool. I think this is really cool. That was a lot longer of a journey than I was expecting. I was expecting it from, like, I'm not really good at geography, so that's why my whole kind of guess was off. I was thinking it was from, like, the top part of Russia down to Italy or something, but no, this is a lot further. And yeah, you would have to walk through a lot of dangerous countries. and go through a lot of, yeah, I would not do that. Let's just say I would not do that. I don't know. It seems interesting though. Like, it's intriguing. I kind of want to, but I don't like walking, so I don't think I would. And I'm not that, I'm not that much of a gambler with my life. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new, hit subscribe to join the family. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Real Life Lore, and I'll see you guys next time. Boop.